We love our cars, don't we? The roar of the engine, the feel of the road, the wind in our hair, or at least that's what it feels like with the sunroof open. But have you ever stopped to think about what makes all that magic happen? I'm not talking about the fancy electronics or the sleek design. I'm talking about the heart of the beast, the bit that actually makes it go, the engine. And at the heart of that heart, for a long time, was the carburetor. Now, I know what you're thinking, carburetor sounds complicated, but trust me, it's not. In its simplest form, a carburetor is like a chef in your engine, perfectly blending the right amount of fuel and air to create the perfect explosion to get you moving. Imagine this, you're making a bonfire. Too much wood and you choke the flames. Not enough and you're left with a pathetic flicker. It's the same with an engine. That's where the carburetor comes in. It's a mechanical marvel that ensures your engine gets the perfect fuel-air mixture no matter the conditions. It's the unsung hero of countless road trips and adrenaline-fueled adventures.
Now, carburetors, they aren't all created equal. Just like there are different types of engines, there are different types of carbs to feed them. Let's start with the side drive carburetor. These bad boys are all about performance. Picture this, you're behind the wheel of a sleek sports car, engine screaming as you take a corner at speed. You need instant response, power on demand. That's where the side drive shines. See? With the side drive, the air enters the carburetor from the side, hence the name. This allows for a straighter path for the air to flow into the engine, which means less resistance and better airflow. More air means more power, plain and simple. It's like breathing deeply before a big run. You get that full, unrestricted lungful of air, giving you the energy to push harder. That's what a side draft carb does for your engine. It's the deep breath before the roar. But let's say you're not all about speed. Maybe you prefer a bit more practicality, a bit more, dare I say, sensibility. Don't worry, there's a carburetor for you too, the downdraft carburetor. As the name suggests, these carbs have the air entering from the top flowing down through the carburetor and into the engine. Think of it like a waterfall cascading down, providing a steady and consistent flow. Downdraft carbs are all about smooth operation and fuel efficiency. They're not as flashy as their side draft cousins, but they get the job done reliably and economically. They're the workhorses of the carburetor world, found in everything from family sedans to trusty pickup trucks. So, whether you're cruising down the highway or hauling a load, a downdraft carburetor keeps your engine humming along happily.
Section 4. The Art of Mixing Fuel and Air. How carburetors work. Now, I know what you're thinking. Richard, that's all very well and good, but how does this magical carburetor actually work? Well, let's roll up our sleeves and get under the hood, shall we? At the heart of a carburetor is a venturi, which is a narrow passage that the air flows through. As the air squeezes through this venturi, it speeds up, creating a low-pressure area. Think of it like putting your thumb over the end of a hosepipe. The water flows faster and with more pressure, right? Same principle here. Now this low pressure is where the magic happens. You see, the carburetor has a fuel bowl, which is essentially a small reservoir of fuel. This fuel bowl is connected to the venturi by a jet. As the air rushes through the venturi, creating that low pressure, it sucks the fuel up through the jet and into the airstream. This creates the perfect mixture of fuel and air, ready to be ignited in the engine's cylinders. Section 5, Beyond the Basics. Multiple barrels and chokes. Now, that's the basic principle, but of course it gets a bit more complicated than that. You see, some engines need more fuel and air than others. That's where multiple barrels and chokes come in. A carburetor can have one or more barrels, each with its own venturi and jet. More barrels mean more fuel and air can flow into the engine, which means more power. Think of it like adding extra lanes to a highway. Then there's the choke. Imagine trying to start your car on a freezing cold morning. The engine's cold, the fuel's thick. It's a recipe for a sputtering disaster. That's where the choke comes in. It's essentially a valve that restricts the amount of air entering the carburetor, making the fuel-air mixture richer. This richer mixture helps the engine start more easily in cold weather.
Section 6, Conclusion, the enduring legacy of the carburetor. So there you have it, the carburetor, a deceptively simple device that played a crucial role in the evolution of the internal combustion engine. From the early days of motoring to the golden age of muscle cars, the carburetor was there, faithfully mixing fuel and air, keeping engines purring and roaring. Today, while most modern cars rely on fuel injection systems, the carburetor remains a testament to mechanical ingenuity. It's a reminder that sometimes the most elegant solutions are often the simplest. So, next time you see a classic car, take a moment to appreciate the humble carburetor. It may not be as flashy as a turbocharger or as sophisticated as a computer chip, but it played a vital role in getting us where we are today.